the Overman Warrior Podcast.
Hi, Rich Hoffman here. I was always supportive of Tucker Carlson leaving Fox News, and I've said that he would find greater success outside the rigid corporate structure of Fox News. Fox News is obviously better with Trump in the White House. Murdoch was never a big fan of Trump. All these media tycoons, going back to Ted Turner, they all felt that they had the power to put their finger on the scale and manipulate the executive branch of American government. And they don't like people they can't control. And Murdoch learned during the first term that he couldn't control Trump. So he became a never-Trumper and started pushing the network in that direction and pushing everybody towards DeSantis and all that. And they pushed O'Reilly off the air with some made-up phony hoax story just to get rid of him. They put Tucker Carlson in, who was a frequent contributor to the O'Reilly factor. I always thought Tucker Carlson did a pretty good job reporting. And I never quite liked him as much as O'Reilly, but I gave him a chance in that spot. I think Jesse Waters does a better job in that spot after Tucker Carlson was pushed out. But Tucker Carlson was never what I consider to be someone well-grounded. He might be a decent reporter. He might have been a decent reporter. But I think all the power went to his head, like it goes to a lot of people. When they find that their celebrity status isn't tethered to a corporate structure and they find fame and fortune independently of that structure, it can be quite enamoring. And I think his head's gotten too big since he left Fox News. And when he found a big platform on X and support from Elon Musk, and he went out and campaigned for Trump, like a lot of people did. You know, a lot of people got involved. Elon Musk went through the same process. A lot of people got on the Trump bandwagon. Joe Rogan got on the Trump bandwagon. People who are otherwise Democrats got on the Trump bandwagon. And Tucker Carlson certainly went around and campaigned. I was invited during the election to several events that Tucker Carlson was going to headline in Ohio. And, it was one of those VIP package deals. And it would have been good, I think, to get to know and meet people. And I enjoy doing that. But I didn't go to the ones at Tucker Carlson because I felt that it was not a good. I was busy at the time. I didn't want to move my calendar around to accommodate Tucker Carlson, because there seemed to be something off with him that would eventually reveal itself, and it surely has. Now, year 2 of the Trump administration, he's just he's just nuts over the Israel issue and the war in Iran, and he's fallen off the rocker in major ways, and his work against the Trump administration, I think, diabolically. And for him to assume that he really sees the big picture and has got his head so big that he thinks that he actually helped get Trump elected, he's out of his mind. So if you took away, and I'll just tell you straight up, and this is to all the people. It's good to have support and endorsements. And, I said the same thing with Elon Musk. Elon Musk went through a fantasy where he felt that he's the one that got Trump elected. Let me tell everybody, it wasn't for Tucker Carlson. It wasn't for Laura Loomer. It wasn't for Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, Alex Jones. It's good when people unite behind the Republican Party, but the hard story is, if everybody was removed from the map, the numbers were not going to change for Trump versus Kamala Harris. Trump did not win because of those people, and he knows it. When you look at the inside baseball on the election results, clearly, this goes back to the whole election fraud debate. If people are allowed to vote for their own representative government, and you don't have election fraud, as you do in states where voter ID was not present, big problem. Kamala Harris would have done even worse. And that is without Elon Musk pouring millions of his own dollars into the campaign, endorsing him. They all came along for the ride, and they enjoyed it. Tucker Carlson came along for the ride. But it was not his support that gave Trump 1 or 2 percentage points. It wasn't any of those people who carried Trump across the line, and that now they regret supporting Trump because they feel that they've made a perpetual war in Iran, which is the kind of talk that Tucker Carlson's doing these days. Tucker Carlson never had that kind of power. He was never going to have that kind of power. He was going to provide news to people who voted for Trump. And if he alienates himself from Trump, he's going to lose audience. But the Trump voters are not going to peel away from Trump and go vote for Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom or Sherrod Brown in Ohio. That's not on the table. And it never was on the table. And the fantasy that people had that they thought they made Trump, Tucker Carlson feels that he helped make Trump. He went out and campaigned for Trump, and now he regrets it because of the war against Iran. It's preposterous, and it's the site of insanity that has ushered into their vision through the bubble that they live in. And yes, Tucker Carlson now lives in a celebrity bubble that he didn't enjoy at Fox News, that when O'Reilly left, the people sought the other channels for alternatives. They didn't really find him, so they came back to Tucker. Tucker's ratings were pretty decent. It was basically the same Bill O'Reilly audience from the O'Reilly Factor. And when Tucker left, that audience stayed with that 8 o'clock slot and went with Jesse Waters. And Jesse Waters has done pretty good because the same audience wants the same kind of news that Bill O'Reilly provided, and it wasn't personality specific. It was the consumption of content specific. And during the 8 o'clock hour, Fox News is offering something that people who turn on the news at that hour want to see on cable news. So the hard lesson was Tucker Carlson had a rebel vote when he left Fox News. People went with him and watched everything he did on X and anywhere where free speech was being touted, as long as he was talking favorably about Trump. But when you go against Trump or you go against the Trump agenda, Trump White House, the MAGA movement in general, that's what this Nick Fontes is finding out. When you make yourself on the outside of that, people are going to reject you and are going to stay with Trump. And it's not because Trump has some magical wand. It's because Trump is a represented pick by voters and their true intentions. So if you take all the endorsements away, all the celebrity endorsements for Kamala Harris, all the endorsements for Trump, Tucker Carlson, Elon Musk, and people like that, then Trump was still going to win. He was still going to win that election. Nobody made Trump. Trump offered something that people could get behind, and people did. And if they don't have the courage to stick with it, or they have ideological differences later on, if the election were held again today, and you have all the polls that say Trump's down on disapprovals and all kinds of things, because people are anxious about the war, that's mostly it's the horse race people who have nothing to do but talk about where the horses are. The race would still have the same outcome. Trump would win by pretty much the same margin. Kamala Harris would lose. They put Kamala Harris, I'll say it again, they put Kamala Harris in because Joe Biden was going to lose. They know it because of the election fraud, which everybody knew. There was no way you could put a head-to-head again and get the same results because the election fraud was going to be allowed to happen because COVID had been proven to be illegal. And the way they counted votes and measured out elections and conducted themselves during 2020 was not going to be duplicated in 2024. So Biden was going to lose in that head-to-head matchup. So they traded out Kamala and hoped that a woman of color who was a woman might maybe get that 7 or 8% gap closure. And again, take the noise away, take all the speculators away, all the doomsdayers, all the podcasts, that it wouldn't be any different because people ultimately vote for what they think is a representative of them. Trump offered himself as that representative warts and all, and people voted to have that in the White House, and they'll do it again. They'll do it over and over again. And they didn't do it because Tucker Carlson told them to, or because Tucker Carlson went around and did an event. And the reason I didn't go to the event that they was at was because it was too much Tucker Carlson centric. And during a Trump push, I want to think that he came to that event with Don Jr. And I've been to events with Don Jr. and I know how the setup goes. I went to a couple where John Jr. and J.D. Vance were together. And J.D. Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy and a whole bunch of people were all together. And Bernie Moreno were all together. It's good to pull a team environment together to go accomplish a political task. But making and breaking candidates, that's what we're talking about here. And Tucker Carlson did not make or break President Trump. And for Tucker Carlson to go out and say he regrets that he helped Trump get elected because of this war in Iran is crazy preposterous and very ego-driven lunacy. Tucker Carlson never had that power. He's never going to have that kind of power. And the Fox News success wasn't so much him. It's that he just, like these situations with the elections, he gave people what they wanted at a time slot they wanted to get it. Republicans tend to work during the day. They get home at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, get home, have dinner, take a shower. They turn on their news for the day at 8 o'clock. Fox News knows that. So they have that time slot kind of covered for those people who work hard and want to know what's going on in the day. And they can trade out people. Tucker Carlson, Bill O'Reilly, Jesse Waters. I could probably get on there and do a show at the 8 o'clock hour and get the same ratings they're all getting. So it's not that they were great and successful, which is why they did well in that time slot of Fox News. And when they were pushed aside by Fox News because of Trump, a Trump hatred that the Murdoch family has of Trump and any supporters of him, they wanted to get off the air. The rebels that followed did so out of loyalty to Trump, not Tucker Carlson. And he's learning that now that he's turned himself into an anti-Trumper. And that's going to be the case with anybody who does the same thing. Same results. Trump is not made by these media personalities as they like to fantasize about, and not made by media moguls as they've learned the hard way. Trump made himself a representative of people. He listened to people. He adapted himself to the will of the people to become elected in the executive branch. And people would vote for him again in the same manner as they did today. If you can keep election fraud out of it, it will be clearly known, and Democrats know they have an uphill battle in all their elections if election fraud doesn't help them get elected. And media personalities like Tucker Carlson do not make or break anybody. They just report things that we want to hear that we don't have time to discover for ourselves. And there's nothing special about Tucker Carlson and a lot of the media personalities who have got big heads in the years riding the coattails of Trump. And Trump himself got where he did because he adapted to the will of people who voted and made himself a true representative of those people. And that's what nobody's talking about. And what the true essence of politics really is. And when people like Tucker Carlson say such things, they're being very disingenuous to the truth. And deep in the back of their mind, they know it. And that's one of the reasons I didn't want to go meet Tucker Carlson at one of these events. Because I had a feeling this might happen somewhere down the line, and I really didn't want my picture next to the guy, to be honest with you. And he's showing himself to be exactly what I worried about with him. And it's good to see who people really are eventually. The truth always comes out. Anyway, it's Rich Hoffman here. Share, subscribe, make tomorrow a better day. If you ever read my book, The Gunfighter's Guide to Business, I think you'll love it. And have a good day. See you later.
Thank you for listening. Coming soon, the politics of heaven.